housing is expensive. And it's not just rents. Home prices just keep getting higher. The median sales prices, particularly here for new and existing homes, rose once again in June, with this data according to the Census Bureau and the National Association of Realtors. So where in the U.S. can someone find a home for more affordable prices, say under $325,000? We're just throwing ballpark figures out there. Let's get to our next guest. They've got some answers. Bruce McNeilage, the co-founder and CEO of Kinloch Partners, joins us right now. Bruce, thanks so much for taking the time. All right, so where are those deals to be found and under this, $325,000 price range?
Brad, that's a great question. It's all over the Southeast and the Midwest. You can find houses, 4 and even 5-bedroom houses under $300,000. You just have to look. And I'm talking about entry-level houses sold primarily from the national builders, and they're plentiful. There's not a shortage of them. They're all over the Southeast, Indianapolis, into Oklahoma City, throughout the Midwest.
With this in mind, I mean, where are some of those hot markets right now? I think we have 5 of them that we've been looking into along with you here, and we've got them up here on the screen. So why some of these areas, and many of them in that South Carolina, Georgia area in the East Coast here?
Yeah, so land is plentiful and land is less expensive than some of these other cities. So you get cheap land, you control your cost on building. Labor is probably a little less expensive in the Southeast, and that adds up to an affordable house. But it's basically the land, the cost of the land, and as cheap as you can buy the land results in a lower priced home.
All right. Yeah. And I was looking at Spartanburg, South Carolina, that was on that list as well. I mean, of course, some automotive manufacturing operations there, too, that could perhaps be an opportunity for people to look to get into a new home there, as well as perhaps even get a new job in the area. We'll see. Also saw Houston, Texas up on there. So at the end of the day, are prices going to, on the national level, do you foresee them abating anytime soon?
No, I think the opposite. They're going to increase. We're several million homes short in this country of houses. The demand is there and the supply is there. It's just getting people approved for a mortgage. Some of the builders are doing a great job by buying down those rates to 5%, but we need affordable mortgages, and that will drive the housing market, and that'll take some of the supply out of stock, and you're going to have prices increase, not decrease throughout the country.
What is the new benchmark? Is there a new rule of thumb for how much you should be ready to put down as a down payment in order to look like a very viable and trustworthy person to give that mortgage to?
Yeah, so if you're doing programs like VA loans, you can put down as little as 3%. Most people are putting down 10 to 20%, and you've got PMI, private mortgage insurance, if you put down less than 20%. So what we're seeing is people are putting down less to get into these houses. Now that drives up the payment a little bit, but it's an affordability factor. The less money you have, if you want a house, you've got to go for those loans that you can get into for just 3 or 4% down, 5-10% down.
Bruce, just lastly, while we have you, we were just talking in our previous segment, I'm not sure how much of it you may have heard, about rent prices right now. When you see rent prices in specific cities continuing to try and moderate lower, but struggling to do so even with more capacity coming online, how much is that expected to overflow into other markets and make it so that people who are looking at housing opportunities and purchasing elsewhere are able to get out of cities that have egregiously high rent, egregious, especially in the cases like New York, San Francisco, and I will say DC as well, because I lived there at one point?
Yeah, that's a great question. So interest rates affect homes and what people are doing as far as buying homes. But when you look at the rents quoted, they're giving incentives for apartment communities, 1-2 months free rent, maybe reducing security deposits. But to rent a single family home, we're not seeing those decreasing in pricing. And quite frankly, we're not seeing too many incentives. So the rent decrease is primarily in the multifamily apartment style units. In single family home rentals, we're just not seeing a decrease or seeing incentives.
All right, Bruce, with a holistic look at the entire housing landscape there. Bruce, thanks so much for taking the time. Bruce McNeilage, who is the Kinloch Partners co-founder and CEO. Thank you.